Everyone, I'm Jake. Welcome to another Thursday night with TaG. Tonight we're going to be doing a 3 by 4 minute hills workout, which you can see behind me, see on your screens. So each of these hills changes progressively every time through. So the first one, it's about 2 minutes, 15 seconds at 85, and then a 15-second kick over the top. As we work our way through them though, that standing part at the end where we're sort of punching over the top gets longer, and that initial 2 minute, 15-second section gets shorter. So I'll go into all the details of that in the breakdown of each one beforehand. For now though, we'll just keep riding easy, spinning the legs up, getting the blood flowing before we get into the workout proper. Enjoy if you're out on your deck, out on a porch. Enjoy this nice weather that we're having in Vancouver if you're in Vancouver. Great day today. Seeing lots of smiling faces, lots of people happy to be on bikes. Okay, just as a preview of what we'll be doing for the first bit of the warm-up, it's sort of a paceline style over-under workout, not super intense, just sort of on and off style. Easy parts are going to be about 50%, harder parts at 60%. It's not crazy, no crazy numbers, but definitely enough to get the heart rate up, get the blood flowing. Also, just another reminder that there's a TaG playlist to go along with this, so if you go on the TaG Cycling Spotify account, you can look up JC Night Riding, or JC Night, forget what it's called, but it's a playlist that's built for this workout as well as the one from 2 weeks ago, so you can give those a check out, listen along. This time you're doing the workout, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can find that playlist and play it along in the background. Awesome. Again, just tapping out, nice even tempo for now. Still got another few minutes of easy riding before we get into that pace line I was talking about. This one, it's going to be a total of 8 minutes long, so 4 times through. First easy bits are going to be minute 15 seconds at 50% at 90 RPM, and then the bit where we get to the front and are pushing the pace of the group, it's going to be at 60% at 100 RPM, and those are going to be 45 seconds long. So the more intense parts are a bit shorter, but at a higher cadence as well. Again, just keep spinning nice and easy for now, getting the blood moving. Of course, these interactive live stream workouts, great way to stay physically distanced, but remain socially connected throughout all of this. Definitely always nice to get to see other people through the screen, suffering along with you, working out, getting their sweat on after a hard day, either outside on the front lines or in their home office. Okay, so in about 20 seconds, we're going to get in to these pace lines. So again, minute 15 seconds at 50% to start at about 90 RPM, and then 45 seconds at 60% at 100 RPM, and we'll go through that 4 times for a total of 8 minutes. Okay, we're going to get started in 10 seconds with these. 5 seconds, so again, starting 50% in 2, 1, 50%, 90 RPM. Again, 50%, think of it as sort of all-day pace, or all day but semi-easy. It's about a 5 out of 10 on the intensity scale in terms of perceived effort. So think of, if you're going for a relaxed ride with friends, maybe one it's going to be longer, maybe involves an ice cream stop. This is sort of pace we're aiming for at the moment. Again, just tapping out this nice tempo. Holding this pace. Shouldn't feel too challenging, but towards the end, after a few 60% sections, heart rate's going to be elevated a bit. We have 30 seconds left at 50% before we bring our power up to 60%. And at the same time, we'll be bringing our cadence up to 100 RPM. Okay. 1 second, my bike computer just went flying. And I'm relying on that for timing. There we go, back on. Sorry about the delay. Okay, in 2, 1, upping the intensity to 60%. Cadence up as well to 100 RPM now. So faster legs. Holding this pace for 45 seconds. Keep holding strong. All about that higher cadence and higher power, really going to help to bring the heart rate up and help get you warmed up for the rest of the workout. 5 more seconds here before we ease back to 50%. Bring our cadence to 90 in 2, 1. Power back down to 50%. Cadence back down to 90 RPM. So 60% sections like the one we just did, those should be like all day pace, but going on a harder ride. So maybe not as easy. Maybe you and your friends aren't stopping for ice cream. You're sort of aiming to get somewhere, get a loop done within a set amount of time. You're not going crazy hard, but you're working. You're definitely breaking a sweat, definitely taking turns riding the front. Okay. Again, just holding steady, 90 RPM, 50%. Got another 25 seconds here before our next harder little pull on the front. Okay, in 10 seconds, we're going to be upping our power to 60%, upping our cadence to 100 RPM. In 3, 2, 1, bring the power up, cadence up a little bit as well. Faster legs and more power. Again, still sort of a pace you could envision yourself holding all day, but you're going to definitely be sweating, definitely be working. It's not really an easy leisurely pace. Keep holding it though. Stay on top of the gear. 10 seconds to go here. 10 more seconds before we can ease back off down to 50%. Easing in 2, 1, backing off to 50%, cadence back down to 90 RPM. Can settle in there. Okay, halfway through this pace line over under style portion of the warm up. And if you're wondering if you ever want to have some sort of TV accompaniment when you're on the trainer or riding on your own, we now have the Women's World Championship road race from 2018 on the TV. Personally, one of my favorite races, really exciting and a really epic course as well. So definitely worth checking out if you're looking for some entertainment, or maybe you've watched everything on Netflix now and want to go back, see some old bike races. It's definitely a good one. Okay, we have 15 more seconds before we bring the intensity back up to 60% and bring our cadence back up to 100 RPM. 5 seconds to go. 2, 1. Again, cadence up to 100 RPM. Power back up to about 60%. Just hold this steady. Again, definitely this is the harder part of this warm-up, but it's going to get the blood flowing and get you ready for the workout proper when we get to it. Keep on holding for 15 more seconds here before we can ease off. 5 seconds till we go back down to 50%. 2, 1, backing off to 50%, cadence backing down to 90 RPM. Settling into this tempo. This is going to be our last time through this pace line. So our last time at 50% is what we're doing right now, and then we'll end off at 60% before returning to recovery power. Just keep holding it a bit more. 45 more seconds here. Steady on the power. Steady pedal stroke as well, trying to keep it nice and smooth, scraping your foot across the bottom of the pedal stroke. Excellent, 15 more seconds to go before our last increase to 60% and 100 RPM. 5 seconds. 2, 1. Bring your power up to 60%, cadence up to 100 RPM. Faster legs and more power for these last 45 seconds. Once we finish this 45-second section, be dropping back to sort of resting power, recovery power. Keep on top of the gear through this part. 15 seconds to go. Keep it up. 10. 5 more seconds. 2, 1. Easing off all the way. Back down to recovery power. Just lightly spin the legs now. Keep them moving. Take about a minute and a half here to get some rest. Shake out the legs before we jump into the next section of the workout or warm-up. So next up is going to be a cadence pyramid. So for this cadence pyramid, the aim is to keep a relatively light, easy gear the whole way through. You're not aiming to push big power. You're really just focused on the cadence, focused on an efficient pedal stroke the whole way up. So we're starting from a relatively, I'd say, average neutral cadence of about 95 RPM. And we're going to be adding 5 RPM every 30 seconds to it. So first 30 seconds, 95. Next 30 seconds, 100 RPM, 105, 110, 115. And then 30 seconds at sort of your all-out cadence as fast as you can get your legs to spin. And then we're going to work our way back down to 95 RPM. So this one, again, the aim isn't to push power, it's to focus on your pedal stroke at these higher cadences, also to get your blood flowing even more. So even as you get up, try and keep your pedal stroke controlled. I find when I'm spinning a really light gear, it's actually harder to keep an even pedal stroke. So sometimes as my leg speed gets up into that 110, 115 RPM, I personally find it helpful to add a bit of gearing, just so there's something to push against and I'm not just sort of, my legs aren't just flopping against nothing, and I can keep a rounder, smoother pedal stroke. Okay, we're gonna get started with that cadence pyramid in 10 seconds. So again, starting at 95 RPM, holding a nice, easy gear the whole way through. If you don't have a cadence sensor, you can just follow my leg speed the whole way through this. Starting in 2, 1, 95 RPM, zero in on that cadence. And just sort of sit here for now, try and keep your cadence nice and steady at each level that we're at. Just gonna move my towel out the way a bit so you can see my legs a little bit more clear, so you have an idea of where my cadence is at. And 2, 1, up to 100 RPM now. Slightly faster legs. As we work up this cadence pyramid, feel free to adjust your gearing. Maybe start by going into easier gears, but as we get up towards the top end, you can maybe go into a slightly harder gear, just so you have something to push against and there's some resistance in the pedals. Okay, keep holding 100 RPM for 5 more seconds before we go up to 105. 2, 1, up to 105 RPM now. Slightly faster legs. Again, the name of the game with these cadence pyramids, as soon as we start hitting these 105, 110, 115 RPM, is to keep controlled and try and keep your pedal stroke as smooth as you can at that speed. 2, 1, up to 110 RPM now. Even faster legs. We're approaching the top of this cadence pyramid now. Faster and faster leg speed. Again, keep the power relatively easy though. You don't need to push big power. And 2, 1, up to 115 RPM now. Getting close to the top of this cadence pyramid. Fast legs. Just keep it up. When we go for the next one, try and spin as fast as you possibly can. Fast as your legs will go in 2, 1, up, up, up. Fast leg speed now, fast leg speed. I see blurs for legs from everyone. Keep it up, keep the fast legs going. 10 more seconds to go. Keep holding strong, keep holding strong. And 2, 1, back down to 115 now. Still pretty fast leg speed here at 115. To slow ease back down towards 95 RPM. Taking the same time to go back down as we did to go up. 5 more seconds so we can drop to 110 RPM. 2, 1, backing off to 110 RPM now. Again, as we're going down, think about your pedal stroke. Think about scraping your foot along the bottom, pulling up on the back side of it, and then back down the front again. Trying to make a nice even circle and keep your muscles engaged the whole way around. Okay, in 2, 1, dropping off to 105 RPM now. Slower and slower leg speed. After that really high cadence effort, 105 RPM probably feels relatively tame. Five more seconds here before we're dropping back to 100 RPM. 2, 1, 100 RPM now. Settle into a nice tempo. Again, really important when you're riding anywhere, inside, outside, but I find especially inside, the air always seems a little drier. Drink some water as you do the workout. And 2, 1, back to 95 RPM now. Back to the bottom of this pyramid where we started. Just gonna hold 95 RPM for a bit more before you can reset back to whatever your preferred cadence is. Five more seconds. 2, 1. You can let your leg speed go to wherever you like to have it. Back to a nice, easy cadence, keeping a nice, easy gear. Just gonna rest for a minute or two here. Let our heart rates drop a little bit, take the chance. Wipe some sweat away. Again, drink some water. Okay. And what we're gonna finish off the structured warm-up with is gonna be some single leg drills. So we're gonna spend 30 seconds on the right leg, 30 seconds on the left leg, 30 seconds right leg, 30 seconds left leg, for a total of 1 minute on each leg, but broken up that way. The other thing I do to break up my single leg drills, I like to have a little 10-second transition period where I'm switching legs. So I go from having just my right leg clipped into the pedal. I then clip my left leg back in, ride with both legs for about 10 seconds, and then go right leg out. It sort of makes the transition between legs a little easier if you just go straight from one leg to the other. The leg that was sort of just hanging there doing nothing, lots of lactic acid is built up, feels really heavy, and it sort of burns a bit more to get going. So it's nice to have that transition and ease the load onto the leg that was resting. So we're gonna kick those off in 30 seconds. And again, 30 seconds, right leg only to start. So in 20 seconds, I'll ask you to unclip your left leg. With these ones, just like the last cadence drill we did, the goal isn't to push out a set power. You can keep the power nice and easy. Something just restful like you're doing now, but just doing it with one leg instead of two. So doing that in 2, 1, unclip your left leg, right leg only. I don't know if you can see, my left leg is just hanging here. Only the right leg doing the work right now. Excellent work, 10 more seconds to go. These ones really thinking about round pedal strokes as well. And 2, 1, back to both legs. So pedaling with both legs just for 10 seconds here. Make a nice easy transition. And in 3 seconds, we'll unclip our right leg. 2, 1, right leg unclipped, left leg only pedaling now for 30 seconds. Something Tracy wanted me to mention last time, but I think I forgot to, was my shoe color. I don't know if you can see that, but orange shoes to match the orange kit today. Even when you're riding inside, you gotta make sure you're looking good, make sure all the kit matches. I know 2 weeks ago we saw Eric with his 100% sunglasses inside, and we're gonna clip our right leg back in now. So unclipping our left leg in 2, 1, right leg only again. Same as the last time, just 30 seconds here. Keep holding steady. Think about keeping your core engaged for these ones as well. It's a lot tougher to sort of stay still when you're doing these one leg pedal strokes. Also look at how your knee's tracking, if it's going up and down or if it's going all over the place. And clip your left leg back in, back to both legs. And in 3, 2, 1, left leg only now. Last one of these single leg drills. Again, just hold it nice and steady. Even power. Now, as I was saying before, think about where your knee's tracking. If it's sort of going in or going out, could point out tightness somewhere, tightness in glutes, tightness in hamstrings. So good to sort of see whether your knees are tracking straight or not doing these left leg drills, as it sort of brings out any inefficiencies in the legs. And you can clip your right leg back in now. Okay. So we're going to take a few minutes easy spinning here before we jump into the workout proper. So, as I mentioned, sort of a workout of 4 hills. Each hill is roughly 2.5 minutes long, with 1.5 minutes of recovery in between each one. So first time through, 2 minutes 15 seconds at 85% and 90 RPM. When we get to the end of that, we're going to do 15 seconds standing, sort of punching over the top of the climb. So the aim there is going to be to try and bring your cadence up if you can. And in doing so, you're going to bring your power up as well. And so once we finish that one off, we get 1.5 minutes at 50% at your preferred cadence as a sort of recovery. Although it's not going to be a full, all the way easy recovery, you're still having to push out 50%, which sounds sort of easy-ish now. But I know that when we get through the first few sets of this hill climb drill, it's going to feel a lot harder. Then the second hill, the 2 minutes, or the first section is a bit shorter, so instead of 2 minutes 15 seconds, it's 2 minutes at 85% and 90 RPM, and then it's a 30-second standing punch to the line with the same 1 minute 30 seconds at 50% at the end. And then the third one, you're sort of probably getting the pattern by now, is 1 minute 45 seconds at 85%, 90 RPM seated, before we kick off for 45 seconds out the saddle, punching towards the end. Another 1.5 minutes of easy or easy-ish riding at 50% after that one. And then we're going to finish off with a really hard punch to the end, 45 seconds at map, with 15 seconds standing out the saddle, really pushing everything you've got, sort of think map plus, so 110% over the top of the climb at the end, before we get down to 3 minutes easy to finish. And then we're going to go into some pace lines afterwards, which I will discuss. And for those that don't know what MAP is, it's maximal aerobic power. So think of it not really as a sprint, but an all-out effort that you could maybe sustain for a minute, maybe not, but essentially looking to finish that last minute totally empty, giving everything you've got to get to that imaginary finish line at the top of the climb. So 30 more seconds before we get started. Again, going to be taking you through this the whole way through, starting with the longest period sitting in the shortest standing, and then working our way to longer periods of standing, and then finishing off with that really hard 1 minute map, all out, drive up the last climb. Okay, so 5 more seconds till we get going. Again, 85%, 90 RPM in 2, 1, up, up, up. The bottom of the climb now. Again, first time up, sort of just settling into this tempo. 2 minutes and 15 seconds here. Aiming for right around 90 RPM right now. You can go a little bit less or a little bit more if you like. Just sort of try and mirror my cadence if you don't have a cadence sensor. And just holding this pace. It's a steady 2 minutes and 15 seconds to start here. Sort of getting into an even tempo. Keep it up. Keep holding the pace here. Stand on top of the gear. 1 minute in already. As we go through these hills and the efforts on them, think about what we were working on in the warm-up with our cadence and our pedal stroke. Think about keeping a nice round circular pedal stroke. Keep it up here. Stay on top of the gear, stay on top of the power. 45 seconds to go. Again, tapping at this pace at 85%. Think of this as an all-out what you could do for an all-out 15 or 20-minute effort. That's the sort of power you should be around right now. It's an 8 out of 10, maybe ending on a 9 out of 10 on that perceived effort scale. Okay, 15 more seconds here until we hit the steep part of the climb, punching over up to the top. So in less than 10 seconds, we'll be getting out of the saddle, standing, and trying to accelerate over the top of the climb. In 2, 1, up, up, up. Try and bring your cadence up, bring your power up as you get out of the saddle. Drive it hard, really drive it. Keep on pushing. In 3 seconds, 2, 1, back down. Again, ease the power to 50%. This isn't all the way off, but sort of, as I said earlier, all day pace. Power still going through the pedals here. You're still having to work a bit. Your heart rate's probably not going to come down by much. But take these little minute and a half long rests after the climb to drink some water, wipe some sweat away. Excellent work, everyone. "45 more seconds of this 50% section before we punch up again into the next climb. So again, the next climb, it's going to be the exact same power as the first time through, 85% at 90 RPM. This time for 2 minutes instead of 2:15, and with a 30-second punch at the end instead of a 15-second punch. Okay, 15 more seconds to go. Getting ready, coming into the bottom of the climb now. You can see the hill ramping up in front of you. And 3, 2, 1, up to 85%, 90 RPM, back on the power, back climbing. Settling into a nice, even tempo. Again, for these longer seated sections, it's all about sort of finding a rhythm, trying to stick to it, trying to hold strong the whole way to the end of it. Keep on pushing through. Stay on top of that gear. As we go through, it's so important to not let your cadence drop off. So if your cadence starts to drop, your power is dropping as well. So really keep on top of the gear. Keep on pushing hard towards the top of this climb. We're 1 minute in, 1 more minute to go before we hit that standing kick over the top. Keep it up, everyone, keep it up. Almost through it. Excellent. You can see the climb ahead of you, ramping up towards the end. You're almost there. 25 more seconds seated before we kick up and push over the top of the climb. Stay on that power, everyone. Just 10 seconds. Again, try and bring your power and cadence up when we get out of the saddle. In 5, 2, 1, up, 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 up. Kicking over the top of the climb. Driving the pace. Keep on pushing, keep on pushing. Fight towards the line, fight towards that finish line at the top. Almost there, final few meters, 10 seconds to go. Keep it up, keep it up. 5, 2, 1. Sitting back down, dropping our power back off to 50%. Again, these sections aren't really a full rest, but more of an easing in the pace. You want to stay on the power. Think like you got over the top of the climb and there's no descent on the other side. Just sort of a false flat downhill. And to keep your pace, you got to keep pedaling, keep pushing the power through the pedals. Again, 50% here. Think about your all-day pace, what you can sustain for the day. Not crazy hard, but definitely not all the way off either. Okay, 30 more seconds before we come into the last of these longer 2.5-minute climbs. So this last one is going to be 1:45, seated at 85%, 90 RPM, so same power and cadence as the last two, just shorter duration, and then ending with a 45-second standing kick to the line. So that 45 seconds at the end, really going to be tough. Going to get into it in 3 seconds, 2, 1, 85%, 90 RPM. Settle into this pace. Again, all about finding a tempo and sticking to it here. Sort of try and get in the groove of the climb and hold steady until that kick at the end. Keep on top of the power. Keep on top of your gearing as well. Keep it up, everyone. Keep it up. Nice circular pedal stroke. If you need something to think about in these long sections, think about your pedal stroke. Think about scraping your foot along the bottom. Keeping your muscles engaged the whole way around and really staying on the power. "30 seconds to go before the last kick of this climb. Almost time. This is going to be the longest one at 45 seconds long, so try and pace yourself. Don't go too hard too early, but don't hold too much in reserve either. 5 more seconds. 2, 1, up, 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 up. 45 seconds standing, driving it over the top of the climb. Big power, faster legs. Pushing up over the top, 30 more seconds here. So grinding your way through to the top. I might feel like it's going on forever. Just gotta keep focused on the road ahead. 15 seconds to go. You can see that imaginary finish line in front of you. You're almost there. Hold strong, just a little bit more. 5 seconds. 2, 1, and easing back down to 50% again. Settle into 50% for 1.5 minutes. That was the last of the long climbs. We got one more hard and short one left. Total of 1 minute with 45 seconds seated to start, 15 seconds standing at the end. That first 45 seconds is going to be at 100% map with the final 15 seconds, everything you've got left, driving that pace right towards the top. We're halfway through this 1.5 minute rest, 45 seconds left here. Again, still keeping the power going through the pedals, holding steady at 50%. That's it. Almost to the bottom of this last hard punchy climb. Try and ride this one about 90 RPM for the first 45 seconds, and then punch above for the standing section at the end for 15 seconds. As much power and as much cadence as you can. Starting in 5 seconds. 2, 1, up, 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 up. 45 seconds at map seated here. A lot of power through the pedals now, a lot of power. This one all about just trying to keep your power up. It's easy to let it drop off, but really focus. Don't let yourself slide into an easier gear. Keep it going, keep on top of it. 30 seconds in now, 15 more seconds seated before the final 15-second all-out kick to the line. Stay on that gear, 5 more seconds. 2, 1, up, up, up. Everything you've got now, everything you've got. Drive it over the top of this climb. Don't hold back, don't hold back. Final few meters. 3, 2, 1. Nice, easy gear. All the way off now. You can let your power drop below 50%. Settle in. Nice, easy gear. Let your cadence fall to wherever your preferred cadence is. Excellent job, everyone. We've crushed the 4 hills of today's workout. We're going to take about 3 minutes to catch our breaths, let our legs recover a bit before we hit the last section of the day, the 10-minute pace line. For now though, nice easy gear, spinning the legs out. I'm normally a big fan of standing during all-out efforts, but I found those ones super challenging with the progressively longer standing at the end. That first 15-second one I thought felt pretty good, but the 45-second one was super tough. And then the last all-out effort, very, very, very tiring. Still got more than a minute of easy riding. Let's really take this chance, drink some water, wipe some sweat away. Try and do as much recovery as possible for this last pace line drill of the class. So with this one, going to be doing 1 minute at 60 to 75%. I'd recommend trying to sort of aim around the middle of that, 65 to 70 to start. And then as we work our way through, sort of try and figure out whether you can go a little bit more towards the 75% or a little bit more towards the 60%. That's going to be at 100 RPM. So that's sort of the in the group part of it. And then we're going to be taking 1 minute pulls at 85%. And for these ones, you can let your cadence drop slightly. Try and keep it around 100 RPM. You can drop it towards 90 if that's where your preferred cadence falls. And with these ones, you can almost think of it less as a group pace line, more as a 2-up pace line. Just you and a friend rolling it, you and a competitor, sort of sharing that workload nice and evenly. But with these ones, I'd recommend that if you have to drop easier in any sections or make it the 85% one, you can drop it a little bit, because try and really hold steady for the sections where you're in the wheels, because that's, I think, the toughest part of these pace line drills is the part where you ease off slightly and have to sort of hold a reduced power. But we're going to get started with this one in 10 seconds. So again, 5 times through that rotation for a total of 10 minutes. Starting off with 60 to 75% at 100 RPM in 2, 1. Bring your power up, cadence up to 100 RPM. Again, this first minute at 60 to 75% shouldn't feel super, super tough, but they're going to get progressively harder as we work our way through and as we spend more time up around that 85% level. Again, the 60 to 75% here, sort of think of this somewhere in the range of a fast but sustainable pace for an all-day ride, or top end at all you can do for an hour. So try and keep your power somewhere in that range. 15 seconds to go before we hit the front, bring our power up to 85%. Again, you can drop your cadence slightly if you like for this next part. 3, 2, 1, power up to 85%. On the front of this pace line now. Driving the pace, you're in command. Keep holding this gear. Gotta share the work with your breakaway compatriot or your friend out racing to get home before sunset. 30 seconds to go before you can pull off the front and sit back in the wheel. For now though, on the front doing the work, 85%. Think of this as sort of your 20-minute all-out power, but holding it for just a minute here. 10 more seconds to go before you can ease off back to 60 to 75% and bring your cadence back up to 100 RPM. In 2, 1, easing off the front and back into your compatriot's wheel. Again, gotta work to stay on their wheel. You can't let them ride away from you. You gotta keep on the power, keeping around right around that 65, 70%. Keep holding strong here. As we progress through this 10 minutes, these 60 to 75% sections are gonna feel harder and harder. But really just try and focus on not letting your cadence drop off, not letting your power drop off. Stick to that wheel in front of you. 10 seconds to go before we hit the front again and bring our power to 85%. 3, 2, 1, up, up, up. Back on the front of this group. Again, this is 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 perceived effort. Think of it as what the power you could sustain for a 15 or 20 minute all-out effort. Working real hard. Keep on pushing. 30 seconds down, 30 seconds to go. Try not to let that power drop off. Try not to let your cadence drop off. Keep fighting through it. Don't stop now, 10 more seconds to go. Keep on fighting. 5 seconds before we ease to 60 to 75%. 2, 1. Easing the power, bringing your cadence back into 100 RPM. Again, faster legs for this section. Remember, keep your power up too. If you can push closer to 75%, really aim for that. Try and keep working through this part. I know it's super tough, especially after the hill workout we just did. But I gotta keep trying to fight through it. In 15 more seconds, we're gonna be back on the front, back at 85%, and that'll also be us crossing the halfway point of the 10-minute pace line drill. Almost halfway there, we got this. 3 seconds, 2, 1, back up to 85. Pulling around your friend, partner, breakaway companion, and you're on the front now, commanding the pace. Keep it up, keep working hard here. Whether you're envisioning yourself in a race, trying to make it to the line, or just racing against the sun setting, give everything you've got here. Keep pushing. "15 seconds to go until we can ease back off and tuck in to the wheel." Let's go. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Back to 60 to 75%. Cadence back in line at 100 RPM again as well. I know you're working hard. If you can though, take a sip of water, wipe some sweat away now. To keep focusing, keep focusing, keeping your power up. And your cadence up as well. This is our second to last time through this rotation. So we're almost there. 15 seconds before we hit the front again at 85%. 5 more seconds. Your friend's starting to flick their elbow. 2, 1, and pull around them. 85% on the front of the group now. It's our second to last time at 85%. So really fight to keep your power up. It's just a little bit more. It's the home stretch, really. Let's go. Keep on holding strong, everyone. 30 seconds. Keep on fighting. Excellent work. Keep on pushing this pace. Keep on driving it. Don't ease off now. 10 seconds left before we can drop back to 60 to 75%. 3, 2, 1. Easing back to 60 to 75%. Cadence up to 100 RPM. This is our last time in this easier section of the pace line. When we come around our friend, our breakaway compatriot, whoever we may be riding with, this last time we're going to really give it our all to push towards the line, push towards the coffee shop, the pub, whatever you're riding towards at the end, and really try and make it so that they can't come around at the end. So really fight to keep your power at 85%, or if you have anything left, punch up for the last 15 seconds and really push through the line. 10 seconds to go, but we're back at 85% for the last time tonight. 3, 2, 1, up, up, up. You're pulling around your friend, back on the front. Now's the time, final kilometer. Do what you can to shake them from your wheel. Gotta push the power. Keep it up, everyone, keep it up. You got this, you got this. 30 seconds to go. The finish line's in sight. Final few hundred meters. Keep on going. In 5 seconds, try and punch out everything you've got. 2, 1, final 15 seconds. Really drive it here. Right to the line, right to the end, up, 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 up. Keep on that power. 3, 2, 1. All the way off. All the way off to a nice easy gear now. Excellent job, everyone. Excellent job. Super, super tough finish. It's a really tough workout. Really take the time. Spin nice and easy. Drink lots of water now. Whew. Excellent work. Round of applause for you all. Very tough set of efforts. It's always really hard to finish off with a paceline drill like that, where you're spending a long block of time, like 10 minutes, above 60%, especially after a set of climbing drills, because for that whole 10-minute section, really there is no proper rest. It was all super, super tough. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and that's a wrap.